y'all, it's your girl Ashley. Thank you for joining me again over here at Whip It Like Butter. Okay, so it's a new week, so it's a new recipe. We're making Red Velvet Cheesecake Brownies. So we're bringing cheesecake and brownies together and we're creating a nice little swirl on top. So it's really nice and cute and pretty, okay? Because Love Day is coming up and you want to go ahead and get ready. It's a little early, but it's not too early to start getting your thoughts together. Another great recipe that you may like is our chocolate covered strawberries. I'll go ahead and link that above so you can get that recipe as well. But let's not talk about it anymore, right? Let's go ahead and get into it so I can show you how it's done. Let's go. Okay, so we have our all-purpose flour, brown sugar, cocoa powder, granulated sugar, semi-sweets, eggs, white vinegar, vanilla extract, red food coloring, and our butter, unsalted. Okay, so we're gonna get started by putting our semi-sweets and our butter into this bowl, okay? So just open your butter and just place it right into your dish. Well, actually you can just, you can place it into your dish or you can cut it up a little bit. If you cut it up a little bit like in threes or something like that, then it helps it melt faster. But just putting it in there is fine. So we add our semi-sweets and we're going to heat this chocolate in 30-second intervals in the microwave. So this is our first time. So I like to move the chocolate around just to see where we at, make sure it doesn't burn before I go into the second interval. And so here is the mixture after our second interval. Now I stirred it and I felt like it needed like not a full 30 seconds, like another 15. So I did that. And then here we go. Now we're all nice and smooth. Now you want to go slow with this. Like don't put it in there for a whole minute. You'll burn your chocolate and you'll be mad. Okay, so just take your time with it. So we have our chocolate ready to go. So while it's all nice and hot, we're going to go ahead and add our sugars in here. Add your sugars in there right away because they're nice and hot. And that heat helps to melt your, makes it easier for you to blend your sugar into your chocolate mixture, okay? And get it all nice and incorporated. Alright, so we're going to whisk that together. You don't need a hand or a stand mixer for this portion of our recipe. We're going to go ahead and just use our whisk. And then we're going to go ahead and add our cocoa powder in here. And we're going to give that another whisk. Okay, just take your time with it. And when you have all that fully incorporated, then we're going to go ahead and add our eggs. As y'all can see, as I'm going, it's starting to blend. It's taking a little time, but it'll get there, okay? If you need to use a spoon as well as your whisk, you can definitely do that at this step as well. So we're adding our eggs in here. You can beat them before you add them in here. That's just up to you. Also vanilla extract. And then we have our vinegar. All right, and then we'll go ahead and get to whisking again. So of course you want to whisk until your eggs are fully incorporated, until you have no yellow streaks, and then you're completely done with that step and you can go ahead and move on to the next. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add our food coloring in here. And of course we're going to whisk again. I always use the liquid food coloring. You can also use the gel, but my experience is with the liquid food coloring. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get that all nice and blended. All right, and you see it's like it changed color. It's like a deep red. It's not like a red, because of the cocoa powder and stuff like that. But it's gonna be really pretty in the end, y'all. Okay, so we add our flour in here. And we're gonna go ahead and whisk the flour in here until it's fully incorporated. Now you can add your flour a little bit at a time, but I mean, if you take your time with it, you won't have a problem with getting your flour incorporated into your brownie mixture. Okay, there we go. We have that all nice and blended. Make sure you don't forget your edges. All right, so I'm just going through with the spatula and getting everything, make sure it's all nice and smooth. Okay, so after we do that, we're gonna go ahead and spray our pan and get ready to pour our brownies. So just spray a good amount. You can also use just, regular spray. I like to use Baker's Joy just because, I always use it all the time and we're baking. Okay, so you want to go ahead and reserve about a third cup of your brownie mixture to the side. because we're going to need that to help with our swirl. We'll just place that over there like so. And then we're going to go ahead and pour the remaining of the batter into this is about an 8-by-inch baking pan. Yes, about 8-by-8 inches. After you have your brownie batter poured into your pan, you want to go ahead and start. I mean, it's easier, I think, if you start by spreading it into the edges of your pan first and then start going through and working it to making sure you have it like it's flat and as smooth as possible so it can be like an even layer right before we go on to our next step. So here we are with our sugar, our vanilla, our egg, and our cream cheese, and we're going to go ahead and make our cheesecake topping, okay? So we pretty much we're going to add everything into our mixer, mix it together, and yeah, bam, we're done just that quick. So if you don't have a stand mixer, as always, you can use a hand mixer as long as you have a mixer. Like, you know, cream cheese, even though this is room temperature, we had it sitting on the counter. And to make it easier to work with, cream cheese is still hard to blend by hand. I mean, if all you have is a whisk, you know, go for it. But I recommend a hand or a stand mixer. But yeah. So I started off with this attachment. And even though I had my cream cheese on the counter and it was room temperature, it wasn't as smooth as I liked it to be. So I went ahead and stopped it and switched the attachment. Okay, so we have our attachment switch here, and I just went ahead and blended it together for like another 30 seconds, and yeah, it was good to go after that point. Alright, so our cheesecake mixture is all nice and smooth, so I'm just going in with my spatula and doing a check, and just mixing the cheesecake mixture from the sides, and we'll go ahead and get ready to place it on top of our brownie mixture. So you can go ahead and, like, you know, put a couple of dots of the cheesecake mixture in various areas. And then, however, you know, I pour the rest of the mixture in the middle, which you can do because, you know, it's good to go ahead and get in with your spatula and spread from the middle to the sides and just keep spreading until you get into the corners and you have a nice layer of your cheesecake. Okay, so after you've done that, then you can go back in with your brownie mixture that we reserved, and you do want to dot that definitely in different areas on top of your cheesecake mixture. Okay, so then you go in with a knife, just simply a knife, and go ahead and just literally spread back and forth and just really freestyle to make your nice pretty swirl on top of your brownies. Y'all, it's really that simple. You can also like dip it down a little bit into the mixture if you want to get a little bit more brownie mixture. It's not going to hurt it or anything. Just really, you know, like I always say, make it your own. Don't forget about the edges because you want it to be pretty all the way across. And then we're going to place this in the oven and we're going to bake it at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. Okay, so here are our cheesecake, our brownies, y'all. Our cheesecake brownies. Okay, so the brownies have completely cooled. I didn't put them in the refrigerator. You see how I cut them and you see the brownie mixture on the knife? Even though it's on the knife, the brownies were fully done. I just recommend refrigerating them before cutting them so you can have a cleaner cut. That's all. So as you can see with the way I'm cutting it, you can get 9 pieces out of there, but if you're greedy, you might just get 4. Y'all stick around for the taste test, okay? Okay, so I just cut a little piece of this brownie for the taste test time because, yeah, brownies are super rich. So, yeah, I know better than to cut a really big piece. Now, these would be delicious with ice cream. After I just talked about how they're rich, right? But, yeah. And I heated this up a little bit. I had it in the refrigerator overnight. I heated this up a little bit, and yeah, just right. Recipe in the description box below. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Don't be stingy. Make sure you share. We'll catch you next time. Bye.